The criminal justice system for advocates. Domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking are considered crimes against the state. This means victims are considered witnesses to the crime and are not a party to the case, meaning they don't have a say about whether someone is arrested or prosecuted. What are pros and cons of that? One con is that it can feel disempowering for the victim not to have a say, but it can be a pro if a victim wants to appear loyal to a perpetrator for their own safety but truly wants them held accountable. This is because it shifts responsibility to the police and prosecutors. More generally, what are the pros of deciding to report a crime? Reporting can make the victim eligible for a victim's compensation, which is funding to help with expenses directly related to crime injuries, including trauma and economic loss due to a violent crime. It can increase a victim's sense of empowerment and safety should the offender be held accountable. It sends the message to the perpetrator and the community that abusive behavior is unacceptable. It creates a record of abuse to demonstrate a pattern if the perpetrator continues to abuse the victim. This can be compelling evidence for further court actions and/or protective orders. Some possible downsides of reporting. It can exacerbate safety issues as it challenges the abuser's power and control over the victim. It can be a very lengthy process, and some victims understandably want to see immediate results. It may re-traumatize the victim as they share details of the crime and face violations of privacy as their situation is scrutinized by the defense team. Lastly, the victim's expectations may not be met as there's no guarantee that the perpetrator will be prosecuted, convicted, or given a meaningful sentence. What is the first step of reporting a crime? The victim contacts the police department in the town where the crime happened. The client can have a Haven advocate present for the reporting stage. What is the Haven advocate role at the police station? You may tell the police your first name only and that you're a confidential Haven advocate. Provide survivor with emotional support, information, and resources for follow-up services after the interview. If allowed in the room during basic facts interview, do not speak. If interview is being recorded, do not go into the room. Please make a note of the officer's name. Once the report is made, the victim survivor will be interviewed as follows. Children at the Child Advocacy Center. Adults in Stratford County, also at the CAC, mostly for felony level cases. Adults in Rockingham County at the police department. How long does someone have to report? The statute of limitations in New Hampshire for sexual assault, adult victims have 6 years. For misdemeanor sexual assault, 1 year. Child victims have 22 years after the victim's 18th birthday. The statute of limitations in New Hampshire in domestic violence cases. Felonies, such as strangulation or use of a deadly weapon, 6 years. In misdemeanor domestic violence cases, 1 year. Remember, it is never too late to report, but charges can only be filed if the crime falls within the statute of limitations. Reporting can provide information for other cases. What happens once the crime is reported? There will be an interview, investigation, decision to prosecute by the county attorney, offender charged with various counts based on elements of the crime, a grand jury in felonies, and a trial or plea bargain, sentencing hearing if convicted. If a client has specific questions about the process or their case, the victim assistance coordinators at the prosecutor's office can help. What are victim assistance coordinators? They're part of the prosecution team, either police prosecutor or county attorney's office. They provide info, education, and support regarding the criminal justice process. They provide updates at each stage of prosecution. Victim assistance coordinators also ensure the New Hampshire Victims' Bill of Rights is upheld in each case, and they're present in court with the victim and family. They also notify victims of any post-conviction activity or action in resolved cases. They do not tell witnesses what to say, provide crisis services, nor do they provide confidentiality. This is important because sometimes clients are unclear on the difference between Haven advocates and victim assistance coordinators. What is Haven's role in criminal court? Provide confidential emotional support, answer basic questions. We can stay with the victim for the whole process. Provide information and referrals for follow-up services. We don't give legal advice or talk during proceedings. The road to justice can be a long and difficult ordeal for victims of domestic and sexual violence, but Haven is there to provide support along the way. To put it in context, in the Bill Cosby sexual assault case, it took 60 alleged victims 13 years and 2 trials to successfully convict him for being a sexual predator. He was sentenced to 3 to 10 years. In 2020, he was released on a technicality, and prosecutors have sent this to the Supreme Court for review.